let's take another look at my CD collection. Hoi hoi everybody, and welcome to another part of my collection videos. Back to my music collection and my CDs, and we're currently working our way down what can I never do that currently working our way down that set of shelves. So we've done the 4 shelves of signed CDs, and they're on to the next 4 shelves, which are my Prince and related artist CDs. Don't panic if you're not a Prince fan. I'm not going to go into loads of details about these, but you might find it interesting just seeing the huge number of releases he's had. I'm just going to skim over anything normal, but anything worth talking about I will do, obviously. First shelf, this is mainly actually related artists, so hopefully you'll find something of interest in amongst these, even if you're not a Prince fan. But enough waffle, let's get straight on. So first up we have I'm Ready by Tevin Campbell. Tevin came to fame, I think he was on the Cosby Show as a young man. He sort of released an album when he was possibly even pre-teen, but he was certainly very young. This he released as a teenager, and it has 4, I think, songs Prince wrote on it, most notably Shh, which is a magnificent song that Prince later recorded himself for the Gold Experience album. But yeah, it's a very good album. Tevin also appeared when he was younger in Graffiti Bridge, Prince's 3rd film, 4th if you count Sign of the Times as a film. This is the Steels, Heaven Help Us All. Steels are a gospel group. Not sure if they're actually from Minneapolis or whether they just moved up there. But again, they've done a lot of work with Prince, sang backings on lots of songs, appeared live with him, and he contributed to this album as well. And I can't remember which he actually, or did he? Yeah, Well Done, Prince wrote. I think that was the only one he wrote on this. But it's very poppy gospel music. It's not overly preachy or anything like that. So that's a fun album. This is Sheila E's self-titled 3rd album. I think it was her 3rd or 4th, but I think it was her 3rd. This was her first one without any direct involvement from Prince, but it was on Paisley Park. I think he might have appeared a bit on it, but her first 2 albums, they were basically Prince with Sheila and nobody else's involvement. Does he get any credit at all? Excuse me. No, he's not got any credit on here. If he did have any, I'll Google it, and if he did have any direct involvement, I'll pop a note up. This is Sheila E's 2nd album. Yes, yeah, Romance 1600. This is excellent album. As I say, her first 2 albums, Prince is all over, including a direct duet on A Love Bazaar. But he's, as I said, basically all the other instruments apart from Sheila's drumming is Prince on these. Excellent album. Her first album nearly as good, but I do prefer Romance 1600. This is A Glamorous Life. Again, these are basically all Prince's songs, music, playing, backing, everything, apart from Sheila's vocals and drums. This has got a bonus track on it of a club edit of The Glamorous Life, the title track, which was a single. This is a release by Ida Nielsen, who was Prince's bass player for the last 5 years or so of his career, or of his life, sorry. She was a member of Third Eye Girl, and she was also in the New Power Generation. This is an album she released shortly after Prince died. He does feature on a track, but it's not mentioned on here, but I can't remember which one it is. Oh, Show Me What You Got, he mixed. and I think he can sort of be heard in the background. But yeah, that's a fun little album. She released it herself. This is an actual Prince album. This is Come, which is from the Slave era. I won't go into too much detail, but it is a fantastic album. Last track, went to a record shop and bought a load of Prince vinyl, as can be seen on a previous video, and the owner had just day before had listened to this album, and he said it was really good until the last track, and that just blew me. It's a track called Orgasm, and it is samples Vanity from the song Vibrator, simulating an orgasm basically. But yeah, that's a great underrated Prince album. This is a single from it. This is Let It Go. This is the normal single version, which has got an edit of Let It Go, the album version of Solo from Come. It's got an extended version of Alexa de Paris, which is a B-side from Parade era. What was it on? I think it was on Girls and Boys. And it has the album version of Pope, which was from the Hits 2. Then this is the maxi single version of Let It Go, which has got 5 remixes plus the album version on. This is Prince's album 2010, released in 2010. Over here it was released exclusively through the, was it Daily or the Sunday? It was the Mirror anyway. I think it might have been the Sunday Mirror. I have, working in a place that sells newspapers, I kept all the unsold copies of this, and I have probably about a dozen copies, but I can't remember where I've put them. But this is obviously one of the later Prince albums. It's the period, although it's a magnificent album, it's got about 3 or 4 really good tracks on. Beginning Endlessly is good, Future Soul Song's good, Sticky Like Glue's good, and Act of God's good. The rest aren't bad, but it was in the period where all his albums sort of sounded like each other. After Musicology, basically all the albums followed a similar sort of vein. But as I say, it's still great. It's a couple of CDRs, but these are albums, The Chocolate Invasion and Slaughterhouse, which were compilations of songs he released through the MPG Music Club. They were only available as downloads, hence CDRs. This is Wendy and Lisa's second album, I think it was, Fruit at the Bottom. Wendy and Lisa were members of the Revolution. This has got Lolly Lolly is probably the best known track from it, and Waterfall. But I don't think this CD, I think Prince did do a mix of Lolly Lolly, but I don't think this CD actually has any direct Prince involvement. This is Martika's Kitchen. Love Martika, even before she teamed up with Prince, but especially once she did and he brought out her sexy side. This has got Martika's Kitchen was the single, which was written by Prince. It's got a 7-inch debit and an alt dub version, and it's got Prince's mix of the song Love I Will Be Done, which Prince co-wrote with Martika, and it's also got Broken Heart, which is a brilliant track from the album. The album is also called Martika's Kitchen. You will see that in amongst these videos. This is Sheila E's Icon album, which was released 2013. Prince features on this. He's on Leader of a Band. It's a very good album. It's not wonderful, but it's very good. And Leader of a Band is very good, as are a couple of the other tracks. But this one was bought through her website. This is a CD single of The Rhythm of Your Heart, which was for Maite's. Maite was Prince's first wife and danced with him from 92 and met until they divorced, basically. But Rhythm of Your Heart was a late single from it that didn't get any proper promotion. Never charted or anything, but this has got Rhythm of Your Heart, another version of it which is written green on orange, and my eyes don't work like that, So I can't remember what the second version is, but it's a mix of some sort of it. It might be the Spanish version. And In Your Gracious Name, which is another track from her album. And her album was Child of the Sun. This is relatively rare. It didn't have huge sales and didn't have a huge release, but it was released by MPG Records, Prince's record label. I really like this album. There's some really good tracks on it. Maite's not got the greatest voice, but it's not terrible. But Children of the Sun's good. If I Love You Tonight, which Prince wrote years and years and years ago, and he gave to Misha Paris, and she released a version of. But that's a really good song. Rhythm of Your Heart's good. Ain't No Place Like You is an excellent track. House of Brick, which is her cover of the Commodore's Brick House, is fun. Love's No Fun is quite good. Baby Don't Care is quite good. However Much You Want, which is a duet with Prince, or Symbol as he was at the time, is fantastic. Mo Better's quite good. And then it's got the Spanish version of If I Love You Tonight, and her version of Most Beautiful Girl in the World called Most Beautiful Boy in the World. But yeah, that's really good. I'm talking about these more than I intended to, so I apologise. This is the maxi single of Prince's Get Off single from 1991. Big hit, Get Off, you're probably familiar with it. This is a brilliant maxi single. It's got the single remix, house style, then Violet the Organ Grinder, which is loosely based on Get Off, but it's a completely different song. Flute instrumental of Get Off, Gangster Glam, which is a rap over one of the remixes of Get Off, basically. Clock in the Gears, which is an instrumental, and the extended remix of Get Off, which is basically the full version of the song that combines a single version and the album version. And then we also have the normal CD single of that, which has got the single remix, the Urge single edit, and the Purple Pump mix. This is The Unexpected by Liv Warfield. Liv was a member of the MPG for the last few years of Prince's life. It's a really good album, this. Lots of Prince involvement on it. The track The Unexpected is really good. There's a couple of others that are really good on it, but yeah, very good album. This is a compilation of cover versions of Prince tracks, a tribute to Prince, Party of the Times. Some Ice-T doing Head, Heaven 17 doing Sign of the Times, Dead or Alive doing Pop Live, Gary Newman doing You Got the Look, CC Sputnik doing I Can Never Take the Place of Your Man, Rebecca Stamos as she's now known, doing Darling Nikki. That's the actress, Rebecca Romaine. Sorry, it's a Stamos she dropped because she got divorced, but she was in the remake of Rollerball. She played Mystique in the X-Men films. This is a similar thing. This is Symbolism, the Prince songbook. This also has Prince tracks that he gave to other people. So this has got Misha Paris' version of If I Love You Tonight. It's got Tina Turner doing Let's Pretend We're Married, Sugar Wolves by Sheena Easton, Joe Cocker's Five Women, which is fantastic, Cyndi Lauper's version of When You Were Mine, Kid Creole's The Sex of It, Love Thy Will Be Done by Martiga, and Manic Monday by the Bangles. This is actually CD-ROM. This is a game that Prince released in 94, I think it was. 94 or 95. 94. It's a fun little game. It won't work on modern computers without doing fancy stuff. But it's also got music tracks of the song Interactive. Yeah, but it's just a fun little game. I spent hours playing that. It's got video clips and song extracts and all sorts of things. This is Wendy and Lisa's first album, Eroica. This is a limited early release that came with a 3-inch CD with some instrumental piano improvisations that Lisa Coleman did, one of which, and I can't remember which one now, became Heaven, which was an unreleased Prince track. It was originally going to be on Revolution's, what would have been their last album, but after he sacked for Revolution, he took some songs from it and it became first Crystal Ball, and then that was shelved and became Sign of the Times. Anyway, so that's on there. I'm trying to think what people might know from this, if anything. Nothing's leaping out, But yeah, it's a good album. I've just bought, it's not in this pile because it's in my to watch pile, I've just bought a re-release of that album. It's a special edition. It's got on CD2, it's got those improvisations plus various remixes, so it looks like Strung Out and Rainbow Lake were the singles. But yeah, that's good. Okay, back on track. Let's put that back up there before I forget where it is. Okay, this is The Time's debut album, self-titled. The Time, quickly, you may know them from Purple Rain, but basically the music for the first two albums, to a lesser extent the third one, it's basically Prince and Morris Day, the lead singer of The Time. Morris would play drums and do the vocals. Prince would do everything else and some vocals as well. So this was a band that Prince put together for Morris Day based on a previous band. Anyway, all the Time's albums are really good. This one, best tracks are probably Get It Up, Cool is fantastic, and maybe The Stick. But yeah, Cool particularly awesome. This is Taja Savelle. This is an album I bought directly from her via her website. It's an EP of Good Times, that's the Chic song, and various other songs. I bought a bundle from her in my signed CDs. You would have seen the main reason for buying it, which is a copy of her Paisley Park album that she signed, and I've got a signed note and various other bits with it as well. This is Rosie Gaines' album Closer Than Close. Rosie was a member of the MPG from 1990 to 1993. This has got some Prince involvement. He remixed the track I Want You. And My Tender Heart, he had some part in. I don't know if he co-wrote it, but he definitely had something to do with it. Anyway, the track Closer Than Close was remixed and became a huge club hit over here and charted. Rosie's not been very well lately. There have been various fundraisers for her. She seems to be hopefully improving slightly, but had been supporting her financially in secret, but obviously once he passed that stopped, so she's struggled a bit, but lots of the Prince family are rallying behind her, so hopefully she'll be okay. This is the single of I Want You, which has got 4 mixes of it, including Prince's purple version. Brilliant voice Rosie's got. This is, I knew somewhere, that's why I hesitated earlier when I was showing the Wendy and Lisa stuff. I knew I had a Prince remix of Lolly Lolly from Fruit at the Bottom. This is a 3-inch single, CD single of Lolly Lolly, and track 1 is Lolly Lolly according to Prince. It's also got Hip Hop Love and a random dance mix of Lolly Lolly. This is a CD single of Maite's version of Most Beautiful Boy in the World, and the B-side, the second track, is her Spanish language version of it. See, it's a bit beat up, this. I think I got it in a package with various Prince CDs that I bought. This I bought new, I know that. This is If I Love You Tonight, which was released as a single. It's got a radio edit, the album version, Spanish version, and it's got the Rhythm of Your Heart on it. This is Wendy and Lisa's first album. I think Fruit at the Bottom was the second and Eroica was the third, or it might be the other way around with those two. But this is their self-titled Wendy and Lisa album. It's just got Waterfall on it. Honeymoon Express rings a bell as well. I've not listened to their... I think I've only sort of listened to them once, but I know I liked them, but I wasn't wowed by them. This is the Time's 4th album, Pandemonium. So after Morris left, after Purple Rain, the Time finished, but then for Graffiti Bridge they reformed, and this is the album that came from it. Lots of Prince involvement. He co-wrote a lot of it and wrote a lot of the tracks on it. But yeah, really good album that. This is their 3rd album. This is the Purple Rain album, Ice Cream Castle. I showed a very nice vinyl version of that on my vinyl one. Jungle Love and the Bird, the tracks featured in Purple Rain, the clear highlights from that album. This is their second album, What Time Is It? Showed a nice green version of that. My vinyl one, 777-9311 is amazing. The Walk's really good. And Wild and Loose is really good. This is another one of Tarja Savel's. I think this is also an EP. Or it might be just where you want. Oh, it's a single, I suppose, technically, for Kissing the Air. This is Kissing Through the Air. This is all part of that bundle. It's got a two different radio edits and the album version of said track. No direct Prince involvement. This is Mavis Staples, The Voice. Mavis was lead singer and member of the Staples Singers, who aren't hugely known over here, but are a bit more successful in America. Sort of a gospel band. Respect Yourself and I'll Take You There were probably their best known songs. But Prince signed her to Paisley Park and then MPG when Paisley Park dissolved. She recorded 2 albums with him. Time Waits for No One, which I've got somewhere, and The Voice was the second one. This was first released on Paisley Park. Then when Paisley Park dissolved, was folded, whatever, they re-released it on MPG, but with slightly different track listing, and this is the MPG version. I love this album. I listened to it a hell of a lot at uni. Prince is involved in Blood is Thicker Than Time, House in Order. Oh, I can't remember now. Yeah, Blood is Thicker Than Time, House in Order, A Man Called Jesus, Come Home, which I love. It's one of my favourite songs ever. You Will Be Moved, The Voice, The Undertaker, which is another amazing song, and then Melody Cool, which was originally on Graffiti Bridge, but is also on here, and then her version of the Love Sexy track Positivity is also on here. So huge Prince involvement. He's all over it. It is a brilliant album. Bought a little package of Sheena Easton stuff, because a couple of the tracks of albums I think had Prince involvement. This hasn't. This is Giving Up Giving In. This is a CD single. This was just for eBay. Somebody was selling 3 or 4 of those bits. But this is a single. It's got the radio edit, Slee Sisters remix, and Joey Negro club mix. This is her album No Sound But a Heart. Is it No Sound But a Heart? Yeah. This has got Prince's song Eternity on it. I think that's the only Prince track on here, but that's why I wanted it. This is her album The Lover in Me, which has got 101, which Prince wrote under his alias Jerry Coco, and Cool Love, which is the same, and he produced. Although the writing credit is under Jerry Coco, the production is produced by Prince, which is a bit of a giveaway. This is the remix is of Rosie Gaines' Closer Than Close. As I say, this was quite a substantial hit over here. Still gets played fairly regularly on the radio. This has got 6 different club mixes of it on there. This is Mavis Staples' first Paisley Park album, Time Waits for No One. Again, various Prince involvement. He produced it all. He wrote most of the tracks, if not all. Not all of them, but he certainly wrote some of them. The track Come Home, which is one of my favourite tracks from The Voice, was originally on this one. That's one of the tracks that sort of crossed over. I prefer The Voice as an album, but that's very good as well. And finally, for this video, this is T.C. Ellis's album True Confession. T.C. Ellis was a former drug dealer who found Jesus and was born again and got in touch with Prince, and they became friends, and he appeared in Graffiti Bridge. And around that time, Paisley Park released this record, but Prince produced some of it, George Clinton produced some of it, and Prince wrote some tracks, or co-wrote some. TC does a rap version of Prince's track Bambi on here, which is surprisingly good. But yeah, it's quite a surprisingly good little album, that. So that's it for part 1. So I've got 3 more of these to do. So thank you for watching, like, subscribe, what have you, and I'll see you on another video. Thanks, bye.